I'm going to graft the toe of my sock together. So I've thread my yarn onto my needle, about 1 inch per stitch plus enough to weave in. And I have half of my stitches on the front needle, closer to me, and half of my stitches on the back needle away from me. I'm going to insert my tapestry needle into the first stitch on the front needle like I'm knitting it and remove it from the needle, and then put my needle down into the second stitch like I'm purling it and leave it on. On the back needle, I go into the first stitch like a purl and take it off. And then I'm going to insert my needle into the next stitch like a knit on that back needle and leave the stitch on. I repeat those 4 steps. Front needle as a knit and take the stitch off. Then you go into the next stitch on the front needle like a purl, leave that stitch on. Then back needle like a purl, take that stitch off. Back needle like a knit, leave that stitch on. Keep your tension fairly loose as you're doing this. Front needle like a knit and take it off. Front needle like a purl, leave it on. Back like a purl, take it off. Back like a knit, leave it on. So front knit off, front purl on, back purl off, back knit on, until you get to the very end. Front knit off, front purl on, back purl off, back knit on. We have 1 stitch left on each needle, front knit off, and then back purl off. Now, your tension is going to be very loose here because we kept it loose on purpose. Insert your hand into the sock, open up here at the top the tension, and starting from the right edge where you first started the graft, you're going to adjust the tension of that row of knits to make it look like it's one whole row of knitting, which it is. Essentially, that's what grafting is, putting in a whole row of knitting. So we're not trying to tighten it like a seam, we're trying to make it look seamless. So you want to adjust the tension so that it looks exactly like the stitches on the top and the bottom, above and below it. So I'm bringing that yarn all the way over to the left where my tail is hanging out of the sock, and then adjust accordingly to make it look nice and neat. Adjust that tension, and then I use my tail to weave in any gaps. Happy knitting!